These are the row operations for the tutorial, the matrix. So in the matrix, that tutorial, we obtained this matrix that represented a system of 3 equations and 3 unknowns. And we concluded that we wanted to arrive at the identity matrix on the coefficient side with 1s on the diagonal and 0s everywhere else, here and here. Okay? So the order that you do this in is you want to get a 1 here first, and then get a 0 here, and then a 0 here, then a 0, then a 1, then a 0, a 0, then a 0, then a 1. Okay? That's the order that you move in, and you'll see that everything works out for you if you move in that order. Okay? And you just have to, make the appropriate selections of row operations in order to arrive at the identity matrix. And this side will get transformed as you move. It will get transformed into the answers, right? Into these solution to that system of equations. Okay, so first thing, to get a 1 right here, you multiply 1/3 times R1. So these row operations right here are operating on this matrix here to give this matrix. And then these row ops are operating on this matrix to give this matrix. And then these row ops are operating on this matrix to give this matrix. So that is the notation that we're using, okay? So we see 1/3 R1. Well, that's 1/3 times this entry gives this entry. But we need to do it for every single entry for the whole row. 1/3 times R1. So then we get a 1 here. 1/3 times 3 is 1, so we get the 1 that we want. And then 4 times 1/3 is 4/3. Negative 2 times 1/3, negative 2/3. And then 1/3 times 6 is 2. Okay? Then we want to get a 0 right here. So we can obtain that by performing this row operation. R2 minus 1/3 R1. So notice, R2, 1 minus 1/3 R1. So 1 minus 1/3 of 3 gives 0. Because 1/3 of 3 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay? 1/3 of 3 is 1. And then 1 minus 1/3 of 3 is 0. Okay? So we get our 0 here. But then we need to perform it for every entry. Okay, so then this entry minus 1/3 of this entry. So 2 minus 4/3 gives 2/3. And then 0 minus a minus 2/3 gives positive 2/3. And then 4 minus 6/3, 6/3 is 2, so 4 minus 2 is 2. There it is. Okay? So now we have a 1, a 0, and then once again, this entry, this 0 here is done conveniently for us, right? Now we want to do the second column, okay? And we start with this entry, and then we do this entry, and then we do this entry. And remember, these row ops are operating on this matrix here, this new matrix, to obtain this matrix. And I'll let you carry those out for yourself to prove to yourself that this does in fact work, and it is in fact true. But remember, we did it with a calculator, and with the push of a button, bang, done for us, right? That's the convenience of this, is that you can write an algorithm that will perform these row operations for you, and you can do them with a push of a button. However, I would encourage you to do this at least once to prove to yourself that it works, okay? So these are the row operations for the tutorial, the matrix. See you next time.